for
Nsem-Pii will honor more. Now Nsem so it is. Utie now share on my YouTube channel.
Be the first to know. Nsem-Pii TV.
26 August. Jumedius from Con and a course or my moa. As a new patriotic party in among your corner, I call a battle also. Now, the CB on 31st August 2014, first special delegate conference, no, a beer coso, ama nipa 10 or matching with this one best person beginning, Emma MP penny at home, so about near son so. Na ama aka 5 na 4th November akoto abai nipa ba akwa obegina mu na wadi dwumade na sabre na muka say enche ana UK ko ba ko ede omo pool ene omo solve beto abonten and that pool ni solve no me buy ni hu say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia enya abanimu 72% na papa e friend say Kennedy ene Alanche Martin ede omo every omo Kennedy na Alanche Martin and a toss me 7.7%. Kennedy na 4.3%. Kwabene Japan 1.8% and akuto free enya 0.6. That means a top 5 no. Omo versus Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Alanche Martin, Kennedy Japan, Kwabene Japan, papa free akuto nipa 5 we and be make it up the top 5. But then you may ana lawyer Paul Anomotre akon nsem no wie pa edit the various details uba wachirem se meeting ahodo bi kura akoso behind the scenes nkrofo bi ko plot 2 against Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and other host of things me pese wa obenya time na wajebre na wati yenti lawyer Paul on this new research and the meeting akoso behind the scenes and their course in the first delegate conference which was 31st August 2014 near my course on another Kufuado winning with what percentage and percentage, from Nanado 2014 coming to this Saturday 26, what is the differences and what is the comparison and then what is the similarities? Lawyer Paul is giving out the details.
Candidates, they say, they ascribe to Dr. Bawumia 72.6% of the votes. That's what they expect that he will get. They ascribe to Alanche Martin 7.7% of the votes, coming second to Dr. Bawumia in the super delegates. That's going to happen on Saturday. They ascribe to Kennedy Japan 4.3, Kwabene Japan 1.8, and also Afriako to 0.6. We want to do further analysis of this, and we've been working on that. Michael is going to come and tell us what it is. But just as we were finishing, other people in the studio were raising objection that it appears the numbers don't add up if we want to put it together in real numbers. Kuku come and explain that to us in a minute. But this is what they are suggesting. Now, later tonight, Samuel Oku is going to tell us the whole history of this super delegates. Where is it coming from? How many people are voting? And where are they? How is the voting going to be conducted? He was a member of the National Executive when this decision was made that NPP must have a super delegates contest. So he'll tell us a bit about that. We'll get there in a minute. There's also something people call a conspiracy against the establishment candidate. Michael will start on that. Okay, so let me switch now to the last time we had a delegates Congress, and they're going to put that on very quickly. The last time we had a super delegates Congress, so the NPP decided, I believe sometime in 2010 or so, that they cannot have 17 candidates anymore, and so they're going to have a fewer number of delegates, and they will do, whenever they have more than 5, they'll strike a deal and have a super delegates to cut the number to 5. So on 31st August 2014, the first super delegates of the Delegates Congress of the New Patriotic Party occurred, and it occurred as follows. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the then leading candidate, got 83.15% of the vote. Alanche Martin got 8.51% of the vote. Francis Adai-Nimo got, let's check the date again, 31st August. When is this one happening? 26th August. Okay, that's very close. I was going to congratulate Samuel Oku as a national organizer for them being able to keep the August date, but he's no longer a national organizer now. He sells lottery, so I'll congratulate him for yesterday, but today's congratulations belongs to Kodia and Anabi and as chairman in team. Okay, 31st it was. Now it's 26th. Nana Akufo-Addo had 83%, Alanche Martin 8.51%, Francis Adai-Nimo 3.0%, Kofi Kunedu-Apreku, familiar names over there, isn't it? 1.45%, and Joseph Gate 1.45%. Oh, this is also an interesting observation. Kofi Kunedu-Apreku and Joseph Gate got the same. It was Richard Lai who got the data for me. Richard, thank you very much. All right, now, so this is how it happened. Now, if you come to the others, those who fell out of the 5, there were 7 at the time, now they are 10. There were 7 then. Those who fell out of the 5 is Kofi Osei-Ameyaw, my own good friend, incidentally, he's Samuel Oku's predecessor at Lotteries. A lot of coincidences this evening. Kofi Osei-Ameyaw got 1.6. Oh, he's an Absunian. Ah, okay. Samuel Oku is reminding me that Kofi Osei-Ameyaw is an Absunian. The Absunians are crowding us in the studio today, Michael. Kweku is Absunian, he's Absunian. But Odadia still reigns, doesn't it? Forever. Odadia forever. Okay. Stephen Asamoah Boateng had 0.72%. So the two of them were exited from the race. And then the final event occurred on October the 18th. And it was as follows. Ado Dankwa Akufo-Addo, 94.35%. He had 117,413 of the votes. Alan Kyerematen, 5,908, representing 4.75%. And Francis Adainimo, familiar face, is still in the race. He had 1,198, representing 0.91%. Okay, let's get back to the first super delegates and see who is out and who is in. Ado Dankwa Akufo-Addo out. Who has replaced Ado Dankwa Akufo-Addo? Tell me. I don't know. But he's not in anymore. He's president of Ghana. So who is replacing him? I don't know. Alan Kyerematen is back representing himself again. Francis Adainimo back on the ballot representing himself. Kofi Kunodo-Apreku back on the ballot representing himself. Joe Gate is also back on the ballot representing himself. So the new ones are Kennedy Japan. Kwabena Japan was in 2007, but he wasn't in this one. I believe in this one he was backing Alan Kyerematen as his campaign manager also. Okay, all right. So this is how it is. This is how the last one ended. We don't know yet how Saturdays is going to end, but this is just to give you the historical background. Michael, now come in and tell us what is happening. Maybe I should shift this way. So tell us what is happening with with what we are hearing. So give us a very quick snap one, then we move on.
So there are narratives. There were narratives across a Joy FM interview that was conducted. Mm-hmm. It sort of points to some purported conspiracy to supplant Vice President Bawumia. So it's believed that, that there was some meetings organized by some of the candidates running for president, or at least running for the candidature of the NPP to supplant Vice President Bawumia. But
supplant is a big word. It means what?
Unfortunately, so supplant basically to sort of usurp, take him out of the picture. Maybe.
Hey, is it possible?
Yes.
A guy who is being predicted to be leading by what? Can you give me that photograph again, Kweku? To be leading by 72%.
Yeah, 70.6.
How are you going to?
Yeah. So it's a very complicated narrative, and Boakye Ejiako was on Joy News talking about this, and he said that the news has not really, or at least the media has not really done a good job of characterizing it, because from his perspective, what they had were meetings to sort of acquaint. They are running for president or running for the candidature. So they have meetings to understand who they are, what are your policies, what are you representing.
Meetings with or without Bawumia?
No, so he indicated, or at least, Kojo Poku indicated that for all of these things, Bawumia was extended an invitation. Whether or not he was there,
who was organizing the meetings? The party or the individual flag bearer, aspirants?
So it's more like a concerted effort, because Boakye Ejiako, even Kojo Poku say that they know each other. They have each other's phone numbers. They meet. When they do something, it's a concerted effort. They're coming together to have meetings, understand who they are.
Who chairs their meetings?
It's difficult to say. It's the impression is created.
Okay, if you are watching and you have the answers, please, you can just send us a text on Good Evening Ghana Official. Who chairs the meetings? Is it chaired by Kennedy Japan? Is it chaired by Alan Kyerematen? Is it chaired by Samuel Oku? Is it chaired by Danabi? Who's chairing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I should mention this because Boakye Ejiako was very, very emphatic, saying that the discussions that they were having was to identify alliances. Just who are you? Where is your mind? What are your policies? Were you to lose? Were you to fall behind? Would you support me? That's what they were doing. He said those were the points of those discussions. And then eventually the conversation went to, is there an establishment candidate? Is there such a thing as an establishment candidate? And Boakye Ejiako says he believes there is. He mentioned Dr. Bawumia's name. But he said that the conversation wasn't as though they had a planned meeting. We're coming to discuss establishment candidates. We're coming to discuss how to...
What does establishment candidate mean? It means a candidate supported by who? The party, the president, the national executive, the rank and file. What does establishment candidate mean?
When, I think, was it Nana... Give me a second. Yeah, Nana Komia was actually engaging the news on this, and he also wanted to know. So the answer was given to him. Establishment candidate, very simply, is someone who is supported by the establishment.
Who's
Established
the establishment?
People
the
within the party. the president would be one of them.
The national executive.
Yeah, so if you can point to a portfolio within the party, chances are they are part of establishment.
Oh, okay, so ministers, deputy ministers.
Perhaps. I wouldn't
important people in the party.
Let's say important people.
So if all the important people in the party are rallying around a certain candidate, that candidate becomes establishment candidate.
It would seem the case.
Is it not going to be very difficult for that establishment candidate to be beaten? If those who control the minds and the soul of the party, and those who have risen from through the ranks to become somebody in the party, like a general secretary, like a national organizer, they are party people who have been elected. They've gone through the ranks, so they understand the heartbeat of the constituents, of the polling stations. If these people are saying Dr. Bawumia, that's significant.
Yeah, but you see, this whole conversation presupposes that there is an actual attempt to again defeat Bawumia. So Boakye Ejaku has stressed, Kojo Poku has stressed that there was nothing of the sort. It was mischaracterization of their meetings. What they went to meet was to discuss some grievances.
Was my friend Usofia Akoto in those meetings?
Usofia Akoto. I'm just surprised because they said that there were 7-8 of them.
So I'm sure he wasn't there. He doesn't like those things. He's a straightforward guy.
So the point of those meetings were to sort of hash out some of their grievances with the process. It was mentioned that there were some procedural breaches. There were some.
Okay, so let's finish with this one because we have quite a lot to do, and our historian is coming. Remind me of the LPM because otherwise I'll slip it. All right, so this is what these people are saying. Does this sort of reflect? I mean, for you as a immediate past student of the university, interested in politics, you still go to campus and you're talking to young people. Does this reflect what people think might happen? We don't have a role in this because this is super delegates.
Yes.
But in terms of people's expectations, is this the kind of thing people are expecting?
So. I have engaged a number of people, and it has been said that it looks like, except perhaps maybe Allen might not necessarily be ahead of. There are some people who have told me that
people think Kennedy is ahead.
Perhaps, but these are the engagements I've had with
But do they all think Bawumia is leading?
It looks the case because, and it goes back to the thing, it looks like he's an establishment person, but that's just aesthetic.
I'll be delighted to see Kwame Japan in the 5, but it's looking very tight at this stage.
Quite so.
Okay, we don't vote. We are only analysts, so we'll get there. What next? What we're going to discuss?
So
the numbers.
The numbers and the representations.
So now let's get the slide of the numbers. If you can put it on the slide of the numbers, and then we can get Kweku to come and I explain that. And then our blind historian is getting ready. Then Samuel Oku takes the stage, and we'll have a big deal tonight. Okay, they're going to put on the representation according to the. Okay, so according to the numbers, 694 people will vote for Dr. Bawumia if this prediction that he's going to get 72.6 is correct. 74 are going to vote for Nsem-Pii if the prediction is correct. 41 are going to vote for Kennedy Japan. But you say many people think that this will flip. Kennedy will come here, Alan will go there. I don't know what's going to happen. 17 votes are going to vote for our friend Kwame Japan. And our father, Nsem-Pii Akoto, is going to get just 5 votes. And 5 votes puts him in. That's where the point is.
Yes.
Is it true that 5 votes can put a person in the top 5? Is it true?
So it looks the case. If you do the mathematics, and as you were saying, we're having difficulties because we had these people say this calculation, and then Kweku came in and we were saying that it's not clear. But it looks as though when you get 5 votes, and I suppose you might have something to say about how those 5 votes would become about, it might put them in the conversation.
But let's Kweku come in and let him explain to us. So that if I'm looking at this picture here, take Nsem-Pii Akoto out. Okay. If I'm looking at this picture, and I see that, Dr. Bawumia is getting so much, and that's making everybody's work easy to get into the 5, isn't it? So he's picking so much, he should take it. Alan picks what he picks. If I am an outsider, if I'm a Kojo Poku as an outsider, I will get 10 delegates who will vote for me. I'll convince them significantly, convince them in all sorts of ways for them to vote for me, and I'll be in. And whatever it takes, whatever commitment it takes to get them to vote for me, I can get that commitment back from one of these top candidates. That's the sense I was getting when I looked at this. But then, from what Kweku is telling us, it looks like the numbers don't quite add up. Kweku, please come and explain to us. You can. I don't know where they want him to start. Okay, so let's use that camera. Yes. Mikhail, so step back 1 minute.
Sorry for my addressing. So, generally, when we are doing research, we use sample sizes.
Yes.
The sample size for this research was 300 delegates.
Oh, I see. That explains it.
Good.
So this is subject to a sample size of 300
delegates,
not
yes.
900 and something.
No, they didn't
it
interview
makes sense
all the
now. It
900
makes sense now.
Good.
So,
Now,
they pulled 300 candidates and they are extrapolating from that
Exactly.
to say that Dr. Bawumia is going to get this.
Yes, so it's the 76% of the 300 candidates.
Of the 300 candidates,
72% of 300 candidates,
of 300, not of the total.
Yeah. Delegates.
300
delegates. Now, the interesting thing, if you look at it, is the summary of all the percentages or the sum of the percentages is 87%. This means that it leaves 13%,
I see.
one, to be shared by the other 5 candidates, 2, as part of the margin of error, and 3, as individuals who are undecided. Meaning, if anybody, Kojo Poku, Wache Jako, whatever, are able to campaign, Jogati and Co, are able to campaign well, with the aim of trying to garner the percentage of the undecided, it means that they may offset this number. However, we have to note that sample sizes are subject to different conditionalities, because the fact that you are sampling 300 persons doesn't mean the 300 persons are a visual representation of everybody.